Welcome to Fashion Reverie Talks. I'm Carl Ayers.
I am Tijana Ibrahimovic.
And I am Cicily Daniels.
Fashion Reverie takes you from the front row to the front lines of fashion.
All of Fashion Reverie Talk segments are based on published content found on fashionreverie.com.
But remember, if you want more information on the segments, go to fashionreverie.com.
And we begin every episode with our fashion news segment, which is ripped from the headlines of our fashion news alerts found on fashionreverie.com. So this week, let's see, Tijana, why don't you kick it off?
Well, Met Gala happened right after New York Fashion Week. Obviously, that is the biggest night of fashion. We've seen some amazing looks. There were some amazing attendees, and someone was missing. So Nicki Minaj was missing. She decided to not come to the gala because she is not vaccinated yet. And there was a strict policy of all the people that are attending that have to be vaccinated. So she had a little bit of an issue with that and decided not to attend until she does a little more research. That's what she first stated on her Twitter. Of course, it gathered quite a storm on social media. And then she continued. So I would like to read the quote from her Twitter, because this is where all the memes started, where all the TV shows picked it up, and she even got invited to the White House so that Dr. Fauci and the team can address all of her concerns, because she does have a huge following and we don't want any misinformation to be spread around such a big platform. But the tweet that caused most commotion was about her, and I'm quoting, "My cousin in Trinidad won't get a vaccine because his friend got it and became impotent. His testicles became swollen. His friend was weeks away from getting married. Now the girl called off the wedding. So just pray on it and make sure you're comfortable with your decision, not bullied." Of course, Trinidad and Tobago health minister responded to it, and he said they wasted so much time doing all this research, but there is no truth in it. So obviously Jimmy Fallon made a little bit of fun of it, and a lot of other outlets. So what do you guys think about Nicki Minaj and her statement and her cousin?
Nicki, girl. That's really all I have. I'm like, Nicki, girl, you got 22 million followers, and I know it's not your responsibility, and you're obviously not a scientist, obviously. But I do think, like, when you are a celebrity and you have that many followers, as much as you can, you should be aware that the information that you put out there is going to be read and perhaps listened to. And I just was like, I felt bad for the health minister of Trinidad. I was like, nah, he has to go on a mission to like dispute this untruth.
So. Her friend's cousin testicles.
Yeah, all right. So as I shared on this on our show before, my family's from Trinidad. And so dealing with this, and speaking with some of my cousins, they're like, "What the ass is going on here?" So this is the thing. As a celebrity, well, me personally, when it comes to things of matters of health, I'm going to follow or pay attention to the professionals. As a musical artist, I'm not looking to Nicki Minaj as a spokesperson for health. Um, so I gotta separate that. Number one, like I hope people are not listening to musicians and actors and actresses for health information. Follow the health professionals. But I will say that I do agree with her notion of doing research or listening to professionals and getting information about the vaccine. Everyone does not want to be vaccinated. I understand. It's their body, their choice. That's how I feel. But listen to the professionals. Don't take your information from the music artists who are hearing things second and third hand. And then for her to talk about her cousins, friends, testicles, like leave the man's nuts alone. Like this has nothing to do with you. Like you could have told you could have told the story of to your people, to your followers of do your research without having to mention this possible one-off issue of this man and his reaction. But then for the the health ministry of Trinidad to basically try to hunt down who this mystery person is and not find them, it just made the situation worse for Nikki. But
Well, just to mention, she will go to the White House and she will ask all the questions.
yeah, hopefully she'll be advised and enlightened and learn more. Hopefully. But speaking of the Met Gala and those who are missing, a nice segue there, right? So this year's Met Gala was actually supposed to be the first Monday in May as it always is, but because of our friend the coronavirus, it was postponed to right after Fashion Week, September of 2021. And this year's theme was In America, a lexicon of fashion. However, not many American designers were highlighted on the red carpet, which was unfortunate. It's about American fashion. Um, but one of the best standouts that night of the night, I think, was Kirby John Raymond of Pierre Moss in his all red outfit. That was a standout. That was one of the best, as far as the guys, one of the best. But another standout, which was she was not the belle of the ball, but she had a lot of tongues wagging on the red carpet, was New York State Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. So she attended the ball in this white off-the-shoulder gown with a mermaid tulle hem by designer Aurora James, who is the designer of the award-winning brand Brother Bellies. So Aurora is the activist behind the 15% pledge, which is um, asking big major retailers to stock at least 15% of their merchandise from Black-owned businesses, and 15% because that 15% represents the 50% of the American population, which is African American. Um, Aurora James is also a one of New York Times Magazine's 100 most influential people of 2021. So it was very apropos that AOC would wear a dress from Aurora James to the Met Gala. But the thing about this dress is that on the back, emblazoned in big, bright, bold red letters, were the words "tax the rich." Another political statement on a red carpet. You gotta love it, gotta love it. But it received so much backlash. There were people who were saying that political statements have no place on the red carpet, which is wrong because political statements are always on the red carpet, especially with fashion. Fashion and politics or policy and society go hand in hand. People were saying that it's kind of ironic that you have this politician at an event where tables go for $300,000 a piece or $30,000 a ticket. It's so expensive, but here you have this politician who was saying tax the rich. Like it's kind of they don't go hand in hand. But AOC clapped back and said, no, number one, politicians are often invited because it's part of their duties as public officials who oversee society and oversee the arts in our communities. So at this gala, Bill De Blasio and family were there. I'm not sure of any other politicians. I heard there were some others, but Hillary Clinton has appeared in the past. Carolyn Kennedy, who was the ambassador to, I believe, Japan, attended in the past. And remember, these politicians, they don't pay to go to the ball; they're invited. So AOC isn't saying tax the rich, but here's my 30,000. She was invited to the gala. But also, we have to pay special attention to the after effect of this dress. So the Google searches for tax the rich, well, the U.S. tax code, they exponentially spiked after seeing AOC on the red carpet with this dress. So more Americans are now paying attention to what is actually in the tax code and how it affects us when it comes to healthcare, education, the military, um, everything that's going on, infrastructure. This is bringing important light to how Americans live. And I think, the AOC and Aurora James, they understood the assignment. This is a lexicon in American fashion. and American lifestyle. They understood the assignment and they brought it to the carpet. And whether you like it or not, you're talking about it, and we're paying more attention to it.
I like it. I'm totally here for it. And I thought she looked stunning. Number one, let's just back to the fashion. I was like, fantastic. You look gorgeous. Your dress is fabulous. But I was like, she, being true to her political goals and supporting a progressive agenda, I think it was great that she was wearing it. I thought she looked great. And it definitely inspired conversation, which really, when it comes to things like taxes, especially, that's so important. So I think it's awesome.
Yes.
I think she's consistent with her message. I have respect for that. I, at first, wasn't sure what to think about it. But now that I learned that she was a guest of the Met, at first I wasn't sure who paid for her ticket because it did, sound a little bit controversial. Like, okay, you're going to this expensive event, and with this message. But I do want to mention another representative that I thought had a great message, and it's Representative Maloney, that was wearing a gown with, emphasizing women's rights. So I thought her message was also valuable and important to note.
Exactly. There's always politics on not just the Met Gala red carpet, but on the Oscar red carpet, on movie premieres, on the Grammys. There's always a political message, whether you're a politician or not. And there were even models who had political messages in their garments. But I will say that AOC's dress was a wonderful strategy by the Democrats to get President Biden's infrastructure bill passed. So we'll see how that goes in the next few days, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last bit of fashion news that we're going to talk about today is, I think, so exciting. Sotheby is having a exclusive exhibit that is of Black jewelry designers. The exhibit is called Brilliant and Black, a Jewelry Renaissance, and it's going to feature 21 Black jewelry designers. It's going to be open to the public on September 26th, and then there will be a sale that runs online till October 10th. I think it is so exciting and so fantastic because, as we all know, I mean, fashion already, the jewelry segment of fashion is already, incredibly competitive, incredibly difficult. But I think, as everywhere, representation is so important. So I think it's really, really exciting for all of these individuals to get their work highlighted. There will be 63 works with jewelry designs by all of the designers. And the initiative was pioneered by the Black jewelry author, editor, and stylist, Melanie Grant, and it was partly because of basically Black Lives Matter, the movement. And so like she has this goal to spotlight Black designers, and I'm like, that's beautiful. So I'm very excited about it.
Yes, it's wonderful. It is wonderful. I'm so proud of them. First of all, Sotheby's, when they have these auctions or they're leading up to the auctions, they often have a wonderful exhibition at their auction house in Manhattan. I try to go every so often just to see what's going on because most of the time I'm not buying anything from the auctions, but it is good to look at, and I can't wait to see this exhibition. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them responding to what the market wants. They want more diversity in fashion, in jewelry, in interiors, and Sotheby's is leading the way. And especially, after we spoke about that Tiffany diamond debacle with Beyonce, this is good to see things shift in the opposite direction where there is positivity talking about jewelry in general and Black designers.
Same. If I have an opportunity, I will go and check it out for sure.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Date.
Well, that's it for our fashion news segment. If you want to hear or learn more about these items and more, go to fashionreverie.com.
So guys, we have a special segment for you with Vivian Kelly, our editor, and she will tell us about models to watch for the spring 2021 season. New faces. Welcome, Vivian.
Thanks. We did this together last season, so this is fun. Maybe it'll be a regular thing for us, Tijana.
Absolutely. And I know you always keep an eye on new faces, and you did do a thorough research as well as interviewed few of the agents, right? So first tell me about how did you come up with this list?
Well, this time I had help. So last time I was flying blind and just looking at model websites, Instagram, and I reached out to my friend Christina Nolt, the show producer, who did the Fifth Avenue location that we went to shows at. And she gave me two casting directors who she thought would be great to talk to. And they both were very generous with their time. So thank you, Chad Thompson from Kumanika. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And Marilio from
MTC Casting.
Thank you. Thank you. I was looking at my notes here. So Marilio was actually in Italy at the time, and he was not participating at New York Fashion Week. He was preparing for Milan and doing campaigns and stuff, but he had a list because he can't help himself and he's always looking. So yeah, so those two guys really kind of helped pave the way this time. Yes, I am in my car. I'm sorry, we're kind of doing this on the fly. So thanks for, letting me do it like this. So we picked 3. I had 10. I had 5 men and 5 women. Which shall we talk about first?
Which we can check out the full list on fashionreverie.com, but I did want to talk about maybe the 3 favorites you have. Why don't we start with a handsome 17-year-old Nicolo?
Yeah, there he is.
How did he end up on this list?
So he was one of Maurilio's favorites. So I thought it was very interesting. First of all, I want to say that both agents said that this is actually, COVID has not been great for fashion overall, obviously, but it's presented really good regional opportunities. So although Nicolo was not in New York, he was in Europe, or in Italy rather, he had a lot of opportunities over there. So he's already, since I wrote this article, he has appeared in Gucci in a campaign picture that I saw with, I think it's 5 models all together, and he's in the front. I don't have the picture in front of me, but I saw that last night when I was looking to see what he was up to. And I'm sure he's going to be, in Milan Fashion Week, no doubt, and possibly Paris. I don't know what the borders are. But what Maurilio said was very interesting is, I love a handsome guy. Like, I love a handsome face, and I don't think they're ever going out of style. So he is skinny. He's only 17. He's got a beautiful head of hair, great features. These guys are never not going to have work. So Maurilio said that houses such as Givenchy, Dior, Gucci, and Prada are always going to book guys like this. And that's proven true. He's already had a D squared lookbook. He's already had several turns at the runway at Etro and Fendi. So he is well on his way. I mean, I think he's going to do great. And he's only 17. So he's just getting started. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the next model you wanted to talk about is a Nigerian beauty based in New York City, Adesola, right?
I hope I'm not mispronouncing. Adesola Adeyemi. So yes, she's only been modeling less than 2 years, and she's already got work at a MAC campaign, MAC Cosmetics. And she's got, she did the Saks lookbook, which is a really big deal for Spring Summer 21 with Brendan Wickstead, and 2 Bipu Mohapatra shows, which is great. And she'll continue booking with Bipu, I'm sure. And Bipu is a favorite of Fashion Reveries, I know. So I felt like, yes, she's got, the height and the looks for the runway, but I think she's also great for beauty. I mean, she has those almond-shaped eyes. She's got her features are so symmetrical. I'm looking at pictures of her right now. So she's I think she's she's got a great career for beauty. I think we're going to see her on lots of beauty campaigns, which thankfully are now going to models rather than celebrities. which is really nice.
Yeah, that's a good change.
Mhm.
So, and tell us about Tindy Mar.
So I wanted to bring something up. I was having a conversation with William, our leader, yesterday, that it wasn't common to see a lot of Mexican models before. But because of COVID, again, agents have had to be resourceful. So actually, we're seeing a lot of Mexican models getting big jobs that they'd never gotten before with American Vogue, French Vogue, and, you know, Louis Vuitton. So Tindy was one of Chad's favorites. So he named 3 Mexican models, female models that he really liked. Tindy's just beautiful. I mean, she's a beautiful girl. And I wanted to point out, I didn't say this in the article, and I wish I had, that we have a very large Hispanic population in the United States. So this is great. I mean, that she's appearing, that she's being, she's being represented. You know what I mean? So there's representation for the Latinas as well, because, this is also part of diversity, right? She has worked also for Dazed, which is a really plum job, the British publication. A lot of people want to work for that. And that is even possibly more prestigious than being in Vogue these days, at least American Vogue, because it's a cutting edge publication and all the models.
That's a big thing to say.
But British Vogue with Edward Enninful is a very prestigious publication to be in. Vogue Italia will always be prestigious, and Paris Vogue is very prestigious because they do beautiful work. And models are getting taller as well. So before, like back in the day, a woman could be 5'9", 5'10" was kind of optimal. Now we're seeing 5'11" is the desired height. And it's only an inch, but it really makes a difference. Because I remember when I did casting way back when, and a 5'11" girl came in, I thought she was almost too tall. But now this is what we're looking for, are 5'11" models.
Now, let me ask you this. Isn't a runway model supposed to be tall and above 5'9"? Hasn't that been a standard?
For the longest time, it was 5'9", 5'10", but now we've bumped up an inch. So they're getting taller, not necessarily thinner, but the taller you are, obviously the thinner you look. So I think we're kind of going in that direction for really tall, clothes hanger kind of models. So I just find that 1 inch, it makes a difference, especially when you put the girl in 4-inch heels. It makes a statement, I think.
Well, thank you, Vivian. We will check out the rest of the models you picked on fashionreverie.com. And thank you for always keeping an eye out on the new faces in the fashion industry.
Thank you, Tijana.
So now we've just heard about the models to watch for New York Fashion Week, but now let's talk about New York Fashion Week itself. There have been a lot of changes for New York Fashion Week, from locations to timing to vaccinations being required. But one thing that is consistent are the great runways that come out of New York. So today we're going to talk about 3 of our favorite shows from New York Fashion Week. So Cicely, let's talk about one of yours.
Well, I was thrilled to watch Kevon Hall's show. I thought, number one, I think it was important that, of course, designers should do what they're feeling in the world of fashion, but I think it's important to remember that we're all kind of like butterflies emerging from our pandemic cocoons, and that like people are excited to wear something that looks beautiful, that makes them feel good, that makes them feel happy that they're wearing it, but maybe it's not too like crazy. It's not too crazy. It's not too over the top. And what I loved about this collection was I felt like there was elegance and femininity and a celebration, just you celebrated the body, but it wasn't like if you could be in a lot of different bodies and look fantastic in all of these clothes. And then the idea of using the brush strokes on the clothes, I felt is what really elevated the design into like what really kind of makes it high fashion. And so that it's like almost like, yes, you were wearing a dress or a suit, but it also could feel almost like you were wearing a work of art, like, you know, in some of the pieces in terms of, you know, in terms of the painting style. He said he was inspired by the multicultural scene of 1930s Paris, and used the realistic painting style of Christian Berard. And I just thought that was something I hadn't seen. And I was like, that's so cool looking. So there was still, you know, a sense of elegance and glamour in all of the pieces, you know, at different parts of the day, evening wear, day wear. But I thought they were all elegant and beautiful, and you would feel beautiful if you were wearing it. What do you guys think?
I was excited to see gowns, meaning cocktail parties are on their way.
Yes. I forgot to say an important thing, which is he had one of our friends of Fashion Reverie, Coco Mitchell. She walked the runway looking gorgeous. And again, having a variety of people, 8 different ages, still stunning. She's so stunning. I mean, come on. She looked fabulous. I also thought that was a lovely feature of the show.
Well, for me, I think the overall theme of the show, not just the collection, but the whole mood of the event was sophistication. You had a wonderful, you know, engaged audience. In the audience, you didn't have, you know, all these youngins, as I call them, the youngins, taking pictures for TikTok and Instagram. It wasn't a selfie moment. This was serious, sophisticated fashion from the editors that were there at the front row, from the models that were on the runway, from the clothing, the design, the inspiration behind the design. I mean, you had people who came there to really show support for Kevon Hall because it is such an intellectually sophisticated, mature, smart collection. So backstage, we had Byron Lars, Epperson, Sergio Hudson. They all came to show support for Kevon Hall because that's how meaningful Kevon and his collections and his work are.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So there was another notable designer during New York Fashion Week that we got to check out. Vivian actually went to see the pieces in person and in close at the Webster after the show. Laquan Smith. So Laquan showed at the Empire State Building, and the collection was perfect for what we are all looking forward to post-pandemic, meaning party time. So, you know, for the girl that just likes to have a good time, and you know, he stick to his regular signature creations, such as the V-neck halter bra or the twist front bra top in sheer gray. So definitely some great looks there for spring 2022. And also some of the more dressy looks. So there was a piece with also like a twist top, white piece. That was my favorite, with a nice little cover up, a puffy sleeve jacket, a look that I'd love to wear to one of the events to come, but we shall see, or at least, you know, maybe a look inspired by Laquan Smith's collection. What did you guys think? I mean, it's definitely a city kind of type of clothing.
Mm-hmm. I was like, this is for the party girl who also worked out and is ready to be seen fully.
Well, yes, it's definitely for the party girl. And being that it's for the spring of next year, you have a few months to get it right, get it tight if it ain't there yet.
Oh, right. See, that's right. You got some time.
You have some time, yes. So Laquan, I've been following Laquan for a while, and it's amazing to see him stick with his sexy style aesthetic. It is definitely for the downtown girl. It's for, you know, you going out to be seen. This is like the old New York. This is the pre-Sex in the City, New York. This is, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. But it's very sexy. To be on top of the Empire State Building, because we're no longer doing the New York Fashion Week. It's the American collections, and so we are celebrating New York. We are celebrating fashion. We're celebrating America, and one of the great New York and American symbols is the Empire State Building. It's colossal. It's stately, and it's a scene. It's a vibe, and just like Laquan Smith's collection, it's definitely something to be seen. Yeah, but now we're going to switch gears a little bit because we had Kevon Hall, which was like the uptown woman, and we had Laquan Smith, which is the downtown girl. Now we're going to go for the jet setter. So I want to talk to you about the brand Bronx and Bonco. Bronx and Bonco is created by the Russian-born and Australian-raised Natalie DeBonco. This collection is it's about sun, sand, and skin. All right, you have to love the skin you're in, and you are going to show it off. Look at these. Look at these creations. So this collection was shown on a sunny rooftop in Tribeca. This is the perfect collection for travel and travel inspiration. The color palettes are sand and olive and rust and teal. It's about natural, tropical locales. Sexy. All right, just sexy, sexy, sexy. Like so, the hemlines they were the high hemlines. They were the thigh high splits. They were the bare midriffs. They were the peekaboo cutouts. It's really about celebrating your body, no matter what body you have, no matter what body you have, celebrating that and showing all your curves. So there were some rather daring and risque creations, like there was this woven jute dress, and then there was this one where, how do I say this? There were strategically placed seashells on the front of the dress, so that was your cover up. But everything wasn't as sexy and risque as that. There were some that were, actually very more reserved and sophisticated. Like there were the high waisted pants that were paired with like bralettes and bra tops. And there was the sheer and opaque band dress, not like an Hervé Leger band dress, but a sheer and opaque fabric that was woven together. So you get this almost like peekaboo, I see you kind of silhouette, but it was a sexy, curvy vibe. It's an amazing collection. But also I can't leave without talking about the accessories. They have these big Hessian bags. Well, they were big and small Hessian bags, which are made of like burlap. But they had the quote on the side that says, I think, "Don't call me, I'm in Tulum," or "Don't call me, I'm in San Tropez." And then you had the Western hat, the sombrero hats. It is just a whole vacation vibe. I'm ready to hit the sand and the sun. I'm ready to go. And whoever's going to be on my arm with that, with the Bronco Blanco dress, we're gonna have a good time.
I loved it. I think we're definitely not going to see it on Coney Island. We will see this
No.
collection in Mediterranean somewhere, unless, Fashion Nova knocks it off. So.
Oh, let's hope not.
No, it definitely gave you that like beach vacay, like you're giving the vibe, and I appreciated there again there were models of different sizes on that runway, and I thought that was like, especially given the accentuating of the figure, as it were.
Yes.
I thought that was really cool. You know what I mean? Like, because we're here with body positivity. People should celebrate themselves all the time, and I just felt like and there were a few pieces like that jute dress. I thought that was amazing. I was like, what? Mm-hmm. Like there were I thought there were some individual standouts. So, I think an interesting collection.
Definitely. Look, I'll say this. If your name is Stella and you've been on lockdown in this pandemic, this is how you can definitely get your groove back. All right. The Bronco dress. Yes. But, Bronx and Bronco, Laquan Smith, Kevon Hall, they were some of our standouts for New York Fashion Week. Like I said earlier, there have been a number of changes with how we're doing things in America and in New York City. So when we were talking about like Nicki Minaj at the not going to the Met Gala, because there was a vaccine requirement. That was not a Met Gala requirement. That's a New York City requirement for gyms, for athletic events, for restaurant eating indoors at restaurants. Any large gathering, you are required by New York City law to be vaccinated, and that also was what was going on with New York Fashion Week. So with some of the runways, with some of the shows, they were not as heavily attended, not because of lack of interest, but because of lack of ability. The designers and the PR teams had to limit the number of guests. So if you see these shows online, the house is not full, but they're trying to keep the house safe. We split between two main locations this season, still at Spring Studios and New York Fashion Week on Fifth Avenue near Saks Fifth Avenue and near Rockefeller Center. Those were our two main locations. But a number of designers spread the love around, and they use off-site locations to stage their shows. It helped, put more money back into New York City and help vitalize the city and keep people moving around and keep people interested with different backdrops instead of just the one locale. Things are changing here in New York. Things are thankfully getting better. Things are thankfully getting better within the fashion industry, and we are happy for that. We are proud of that. Forever strong. And that's all I have to say about the current direction of fashion and New York Fashion Week and our American collectives. So everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Fashion Reverie Talks. If you want to see more of anything, go to fashionreverie.com. I'm Carl Ayers, and my lovely co-host. I'm just, taking over this whole outro. I'm sorry.
So we would also like to thank our associate editor, Vivian Kelly, for joining us.
And again, if you want more information on any of the stories, go to fashionreverie.com. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time.